Well, it turns out Bill and Hillary Clinton are just straight up refusing to testify about their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, on the one hand, it's rather upsetting to see more Democrats use this situation as just another political pawn. But on the other, Donald Trump has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever and finally make good on one of his biggest campaign promises.
You should lock her up, I'll tell you.
Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary.
Lock them up, yeah, lock them up.
Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. In case you needed any more proof, which you don't. If you're paying attention, you don't need this proof, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. The Democrats don't care at all about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. The Democrats have never cared, actually, about Jeffrey Epstein. The Democrats, in large cases, just went along with everything that Jeffrey Epstein was doing, turned a blind eye, went to the island, participated in God knows what, and now all of a sudden it's like orange man bad whenever they can use it to be politically advantageous to them. It's really disgusting to watch. And so now you have Bill and Hillary Clinton who are refusing to testify in the House Epstein investigation. Now remember, the Democrats said, it's the Republicans who don't want to investigate. It's the Republicans who don't want to release the files. Actually, it's the Republicans right here who are trying to investigate. The Republicans run the House. They're trying to investigate the Epstein situation. And Bill and Hillary Clinton, right there, kind of key figures in this whole thing. They should probably tell us what they know. I mean, hey, Democrats, if we're serious about getting to the bottom of this, we should hear from those two evil ghouls on the screen, shouldn't we? Now, the subheader there is James Comer said he would move to hold former U.S. president in contempt for not appearing for testimony. Now, he needs to. I have my doubts on whether or not he will. It seems to me like Republicans, when they get in power, make all these, they're like, we're going to investigate the investigation. And then when we investigate that, we're going to have a lot of testimony about it. And then when we have a lot of testimony about it, we're going to send a sternly worded letter to the manager. And then we may think about following through with some really, really strict stuff. We might think about it. We might talk about it, never actually do it. Whereas Democrats, you see what they do when they take power. They impeached Donald Trump twice, and they tried to throw him in prison. 91 indictments, 34 felony counts. They actually do want to put us in prison. Republicans are like, yeah, we'll talk about it. I don't know. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss discussing it. And then we might come to some sort of a decision right as we're getting out of power. And then, we can't actually do anything. But the craziest thing about Bill and Hillary Clinton refusing to testify, they released this big grandiose statement. Okay. And they were like, here's the reason why we are not testifying. ICE. Actually, don't try to make too much sense of it because your brain will start to hurt because it's kind of inexplicable, all right? They said, this past year has seen our government engage in unprecedented acts, including against our own citizens. Show me the receipts, Bill. People have been seized by masked federal agents from their homes, their workplaces, and the streets of their communities. Students and scientists with visas permitting them to study and work here have been deported without due process. The people who laid siege to the U.S. Capitol have been pardoned and called heroes. Isn't that so? The people who laid siege to the U.S. Capitol, the day democracy died, they were pardoned and called heroes. I mean, like they marched through on a guided tour. They didn't lay siege. Guys, hold just give me 1 second, Stephen. I've just got to hone in on this point any chance that I get. We're the side with all the guns. If we really wanted to lay siege to the U.S. Capitol, if we really wanted to stage an insurrection, it would not have been a calm guided tour of the Capitol with the Capitol Police just guiding these people down through the rooms and then out with no problem. Our friend Adam Johnson, I'm carrying a lectern. It's so funny. Now I'm going to set it down and peacefully walk out without problem, without violence. That's not how it would have gone if we really wanted to, quote, lay siege to the U.S. Capitol. But these are failed theater kids, as we always like to say. And everything is very, very dramatic. They went on, agencies vital to the country's national security have been dismantled. Universities, media companies, and law firms have been subjected to threats to their funding, access, and licensing unless they made concessions and surrendered their right to constitutionally protected free speech. What are they even talking about? I don't even understand. Are they referring to where the college campuses went and started saying pro-Hamas, like pro-terrorist rhetoric, and they're like, you should be allowed to do that? I don't even think they know what they're talking about. American troops have been deployed on the streets of our towns and cities. Yeah, dipshit, to keep everyone safe. These Democrats have turned our cities into hellholes. President Trump is trying to clean it up. And by the way, as these people talk about, of course, they talk about D.C. when they mention American troops being deployed, the National Guard being deployed in D.C. What's so funny about all of these people who want to complain about the National Guard being deployed onto the streets of D.C., none of those people actually live there. They don't live in D.C. You know where they all live? If they work in D.C., they all live outside of D.C. They all live in Virginia or Maryland. They all live outside of that bubble in the suburbs. Why? Because they're safer. Nobody wants to actually live in D.C. because it was dirty and crime-ridden. That's the dirty little secret they don't want to tell you. They keep on talking about how it's so terrible that American troops, the National Guard, has been called to D.C. All the people who actually live there are like, yeah, it's great. I can actually go out. I can go to a restaurant. I don't have to worry about, crime, about being violently assaulted in the streets, about being pickpocketed, about anything. Because we got the National Guard there. But the Clintons, the elitist Clintons, are here to tell you that you should actually be dismayed at the National Guard helping clean up the streets of D.C. They said the Justice Department has been used as a weapon at the direction of the president to pursue political opponents. I mean, you just couldn't make that up if you tried. Bill and Hillary Clinton are here to tell you, Hillary Clinton, who was in on the meetings with Barack Obama, who all concocted this whole entire scenario where they know the Russia hoax is a hoax and they still use it against Donald Trump. This woman, this ghoul, this evil ghoul was in on all of it. She knew. There were conversations about how they knew that Hillary's health was declining, and this was going to help with that. We now know they all were in on it. And after Donald Trump left office, when he decided to run again, 91 indictments, and Bill and Hillary Clinton are here to tell you they are very, very upset about the DOJ being used as a weapon to pursue political opponents. Isn't that so funny how that worked out? Crickets when Joe Biden was actually doing that. Crickets. But now, because they don't want to testify about Jeffrey Epstein, they don't actually like the weaponization of the Justice Department. And that's what they claim is going on right now. And then, of course, they say most recently and searingly, an ICE agent killed an unarmed mother only days ago. Every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people, no matter the consequences. For us, now is that time. Boy, I would love to know the word count on that. A whole lot of words to say absolutely nothing. A whole lot of words to be like, I'm sorry, I don't, like, what in all of these words that you just strung together is preventing you from going to Capitol Hill and testifying about what you knew about Jeffrey Epstein, who we all are in agreement, or we were until 5 minutes ago, that he was a really bad guy, and we need to know who all was involved with him. And I don't care if it is the current president of the United States. If the current president of the United States knew that he was trafficking girls, was in on it, participated in it, and did nothing to rat him out, call him out, work with law enforcement, which is, of course, what we know that he did, I would like to know. I want to know. It doesn't matter who it was. No, the Clintons, they're standing up because ICE or something. I mean, like, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense unless maybe, I don't know, but put on your tinfoil hat with me, okay? Maybe they're not going to testify because they know specifically Bill Clinton has a whole lot more to hide and knows a whole lot more about Jeffrey Epstein and his shenanigans, and we're in on said shenanigans more so than we probably previously thought. I know. Just stick with me, okay? Now, there were more Epstein files that were released. We didn't get a chance to really go through all of them because this was over the Christmas break. We were gone. Our entire studio was dark. Like, even if I had said, hey, I have this stuff, I want to do a show, I would not have been able to because I love my crew and I wanted them to be able to have a Christmas break as well. So we didn't get to go through some of these, but there were new documents, new pictures, new images that came out that I find to be particularly enlightening. I find to be maybe the reason why Bill Clinton didn't want to testify about Jeffrey Epstein. As we all knew, they're wearing matching shirts. They're besties. Look at them cuddling up to each other. I mean, they seem to be very, very close. There's Bill with a blonde woman. I don't see her face, but I think that's not Hillary Clinton. By the way, we were told by the DOJ if a person's face was blacked out, it was because they were a minor. So I don't think that was Hillary Clinton sitting on Bill's lap. The box tells me that's a minor. Okay? So, also going for a casual swim with Ghislaine Maxwell and another female whose face is also blacked out, which again, we were told was because if they would be minors. And look at that. Hanging out with, wouldn't you know it? Birds of a feather flock together, another accused child diddler, Michael Jackson. Isn't that that's just coincidence. It's just such a crazy coincidence. I'm just the conspiracy theorist for saying maybe that's actually it wasn't actually ICE. As it turns out, it's not Bill Clinton standing against ICE that he doesn't want to go to Capitol Hill and testify and be asked questions that he must answer on his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure that those pictures have nothing to do with it. I am sure. Now, I will mention that Bill Clinton has repeatedly said that he has done nothing wrong with regard. Listen, he did not have sexual relations with that women or those women. He's done nothing wrong. He did not have to. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know what the definition of sexual relations was. My bad. Sorry. Okay, yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I did do that with a cigar. Sorry. Sure, Bill. I'm sure. Yeah, no, you didn't do anything wrong. He also said he cut off ties with Jeffrey Epstein well before any of the pedophile stuff came out. He had no idea before. I mean, he just cut him off for no reason. He just wasn't a good friend. He wasn't wearing matching shirts with Bill anymore. Jeffrey didn't want to match. He didn't want to be twinsies. And Bill didn't like that very much. That's the reason. That must be the reason why Bill Clinton doesn't hang with Jeffrey Epstein anymore. Except that's not even true. It's not actually the truth because we've got these fun little articles from the Daily Mail that resurfaced in the latest document release exclusive. Bill Clinton pictured with Jeffrey Epstein's social fixer at Chelsea's wedding after severing links with disgraced pedophile. So let's just for just for context here, lay this all out in a timeline. Jeffrey Epstein, arrested in 2006. He was sentenced in 2008 of soliciting sex from a minor. That happened in 2008. The wedding took place in 2010. So unless they were doing the invites 4 years earlier, it's a little strange that Bill would be inviting Ghislaine Maxwell, the BFF and fixer of Jeffrey Epstein, to his daughter Chelsea's wedding. Is it just me? I mean, you guys let me know in the comments. Does that math ain't mathin' to me? Am I missing? Do you guys often, when you plan weddings, do you invite people? Do you send them like save the dates 4 years in advance? Do you get that RSVP like 4 years in advance, or is that weird? Okay. Now, it's also crazy to think that the Democrats for almost the entirety of 2025 were just like, release the files, release the files. President Trump, what do you have to hide? Release the files. Now, all of a sudden, they were the party who cares about women and sexual abuse. That was them. They were like, we always have cared about Jeffrey Epstein. Right now, we didn't care about Jeffrey Epstein in the 4 years that Joe Biden was president. We never once put up a big, deal, put up a big dog and pony show, put up a big circus about making sure that the Epstein files were released. But now that dastardly President Trump is back in office, we care so much about releasing the files. What do you have to hide, Donald Trump? What do you have to hide? We just care about the victims.
President Trump has a choice. Follow the law and release the files, or break the law and continue to hide the truth from the American people. President Trump, what are you trying to hide?
Donald Trump appears to have chickened out on the Epstein scandal. He's caved. It's a complete and total surrender. That the American people just deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to the Epstein files that Donald Trump and his minions made a big deal about for years, but now all of a sudden that they're in office, they're trying to bury this information.
Just release the files, release them. But that's what's going on here is they want to protect the reputation of these rich and powerful men who showed up in Epstein's rape island and not have them take accountability.
Yes, sure. That's what it is. Now, Democrats, what say you on Bill and Hillary Clinton's refusal to testify about Jeffrey Epstein? Because I just heard from you that it's like the most important thing. Oh, wait. Sorry, I just heard a pin drop listening to the Democrats' silence on that matter. Nothing to say about Bill and Hillary Clinton not testifying. Nothing to say about that. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the Democrats have no morals and no values, no moral compass. They just use things to their advantage politically. It's disgusting. You have a guy who has firsthand knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein. He's probably pictured more than anyone else with Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, Chelsea's wedding was like early August of 2010. Sorry, early July of 2010. Jeffrey Epstein happened to not be under house arrest anymore. He finished that in August. So he might have even been able to show up. Maybe they did that intentionally because they were like, oh gosh, that's really awkward. The optics of him showing up because he's still our friends, but we don't want people to know. I know. We'll plan the wedding right before his house arrest is up. And then it's like, oh, gosh, shoot. Sorry, Jeff. Your ankle monitor will go off and it'll be really awkward. So, darn it, we wish that you could be here. Now, I will just say, as James Comer mulls all this over, you're going to have a discussion about whether or not you are going to hold Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt. When the shoe was on the other foot, Steve Bannon was locked up for 4 months for defying a congressional subpoena. Same exact thing. The same thing that we're talking about. 4 months, they held him in contempt, and they followed through with the actual consequence. What will you do, James Comer? What will you do? Because I always said Donald Trump, in his first term, one of his biggest mistakes, 1, was trusting the wrong people, but 2, was saying he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up. We don't need it right now, Stephen. It's just saying he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up and then not doing it. That's it. That was a huge mistake on his part. She was the actual criminal. She is the actual criminal. We have all of the evidence. She is the criminal. He should have locked her up because the message that they sent to the Democrats is, oh, they don't actually understand what time it is. We do mean business. We will lock you up. We do want to throw your ass in prison, Trump, and all of you. We will go to whatever lengths necessary to throw our political opponents in prison. And they did. They just weren't good enough at it. They did do everything possible. President Trump, James Comer, You have the opportunity to follow through on one of Trump's failed promises the first time around that he should have actually followed through with before. And by the way, I will end with this. I would like to just remind Democrats of their own words.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law, even a former president.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
No one is above the law.
The law is the law, and no one should be above it.
And yes, nobody is above the law. No one is above the law.
No one else is above the law, including a president.
Nobody is above the law. You can't have two justice systems in America. It has to be one justice system. And anybody who breaks the law should be held accountable.
And that no one is above the law.
I agree. I think we all know what needs to happen next. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.